Double check, see if we're going live, and it looks like we're ready to rock and roll. Welcome to Wise Beyond Bitcoin, where you come for the crypto neo news, education opportunities. My name is Lucas,
My name is Ryan.
and well, this is our first live stream of the new year. It's also our first live stream in a while. We got busy with the holidays and family, and life happens, but this year's just been a great year. We got a little rebrand, a little beautiful focus with all the developments that happened in 2021 and going into 2022. It's exciting to talk about. So we look forward to sharing these opportunities. We've been sharing, we'll continue to, and a lot of those opportunities deal with blockchain cryptocurrency having resolved privacy as an unspoken issue, and now it's spoken about and dealt with in a lot of production there. So there's that, but we also have market news, and we also have this is not financial advice, marital advice, spiritual advice, medical advice. It's not any vice it's our vices. You keep your own and do your own research to be your own bank. And I think that covers. This is our research. We just share, and this is crypto talk and banter. So if you like these projects, if it's nice to meet you, drop a comment. I know there's beautiful communities that it's just a joy to be a part of, that are brought together. Even though it's decentralized, there are people who are brought together with an ethos, and there's some stories to talk about that, about cryptocurrency doing things that you don't see happen often in outside world, where people get made whole immediately from scams. And
I think I know what you're talking about. You're referring to the secret network.
Yeah.
Kind of how the community responded to a recent hack, and the way that their donations and through people helping and talking about spreading the story, that there has been like a response. And yeah, it's been beautiful to see that play out. And I don't think you see that in, like you say, many other ecosystems, right? Not just in crypto, but certainly outside of it, in the traditional financial world. These sorts of things don't happen. So, and I like how you mentioned that we're entering the new year with a renewed focus, a rebranding. We have a new banner. We are trying to, kind of hone our focus, not exclusively on secret, but we are definitely going to be paying a lot of attention to secret network and the IBC in general. We feel that there's going to be a lot of cool things happening 2022 in that ecosystem, and that we're definitely going to be covering it.
That being said, we may be having a special guest this evening popping in. That is the intention and the plan as per the thumbnail. But we do look at projects, because there are projects that are innovating and providing opportunities in crypto and blockchain all over the place. It's just, so in that regard, we have to say Fantom. We've had the pleasure to be able to speak to the team, the developer, early on when they first came onto the scene, and scouring away, seeing that they came on with that connection, that cross-chain connection to Moon River and Fantom, which is doing quite well right now. We can talk about that, because that's another great EVM that is offering a lot of opportunities and off-chain, off of Ethereum. So that's cool, and it's cool to see what Fantom is doing with their treasury and all the innovations. Yeah. They've continued to innovate, and I will say this, secret, having been around crypto for a long time, there are different things that bring communities together. Some communities are like, hey, I was here first. Hey, I've made money. Hey, we're going to get rich. And some are brought together with a kind of passion or an ethos and an understanding. And, I will say that among DAO reserve currencies and among cryptos and blockchains, the Fantom community is very, very strong and tight. I think there's an appreciation for the development and the innovation from the very beginning, and taking a chance at some and seeing,
not just another fork.
Correct.
Right. Because from right out of the gate, they already had a really innovative approach by being with the first cross-chain fork. And then the fact that, hey, what's up, Jacob?
Oh, right on.
It's good to see you guys. See you make it. Yeah.
All right, sorry about that.
You're good, brother. Yeah, and hey, we may have another special guest on this evening. We may have our buddy from Fantom hop on. That's the intention. We were just talking about that recently, but welcome. It's good to have you back, my friend. It's good to do the first live. We were just talking about the first live stream of the year. Meanwhile, I had this page on some random with all these different videos, and I'm like not showing our stuff, our videos, and so it's cool. We're here now. We've got the new brand. Just talking about the focus of the new year. And you've already dropped some content this year, giving walkthroughs and opportunities for development in blockchain and with metaverse and gaming and layer 2 solutions like Immutable X. So right out the gate, you've been dropping those knowledge bombs too. So it's good to see you back. It's good to do the live streams again, my friend.
Oh yeah. It's good to be back.
And Ryan, speaking of dropping the knowledge bombs, we've got this new series right here, Wise Beyond Bitcoin Macro Outlook. So we do like to talk about and think about the connection between crypto and blockchain as an alternative, but its correlation and connection to the traditional markets and to the economy at large, and how it may displace or help and assist. But in either way, there's making room for it, how they'll impact each other. So if
the relationship.
So
we're going to be rolling out those videos, hopefully once a week, but potentially more than that, depending on how much news and how quickly it comes. Right. I think 2022 is going to be a very macro-centric year with the fact the Fed and the new monetary policy that we're inching towards, and what that's going to mean for the financial assets in general and crypto specifically. There should be a lot to chew on. So look out for those videos.
Well, speaking of those videos, why don't we start it like we used to start a lot of videos before we get into the crypto, because we have a lot of crypto information. There's a lot of secret NFTs and other crypto opportunities that are happening that are just very innovative, very neat. And if you follow blockchain and crypto and you look at DeFi and providing LP and farming and forks and DAOs, if that's something you've been following for a long time, then I think you'll be very excited or happy or feel refreshed with these innovations, because it's something it's a utility that's on the blockchain that is crypto, but it's on a different level. It's pretty nice. And we've made some videos about it, and we'll talk more about it again here shortly with some other things as well. But Ryan, why don't you talk to me about this billionaire Paul Tudor Jones and this alarm?
What he thinks.
The
alarm, the doom and gloom, right? That's because I guess that's how you could file this under. But so Paul Tudor Jones, he had an interview on CNBC, and this is a bit of a summary of kind of what he said, and he's more or less saying that there's a potential for a massive, or I don't want to overstate it, but a significant recession and price deflation in U.S. stocks. And not just in general, but more of the tech stocks and kind of the ones that have done the best. He quotes it and specifically says the ones that have outperformed. So, and he includes meme stocks and cryptocurrencies as potentially some of those that have really done so well, and that he could see as potentially getting hit the hardest in a regime where the Fed is hiking rates and tapering the bond purchases, which is what we're expecting over the course of the next year and a half, 2 years. So this is more or less a statement about kind of what sectors he thinks are going to be the weakest going forward, and he highlights crypto and some of the U.S. equities in general, specifically tech stocks.
It's funny that he says this, because you find news. I bet the text message after the bullish news. Well, not so the bullish news from the Fed came out. Okay, now it's your turn.
Yeah, give me the other side. Yeah.
Okay. Now I said my part. Now it's your turn. The billionaire goes, all right, I got the message, Jerome. I got this.
Right.
But no. I was going to say. Here's what I was going to say about this. Let's. Yeah. Is it Elon? Where did I find this? Elon Musk talks about Elon Musk accepting Dogecoin for Tesla.
Yeah, I've heard about that.
Did you read that? Have you heard about that article?
I vaguely I remember. Was it a recent article or something that he
I saw it on the Twitter, so
something happened recently?
I think it was something recently. He's talking about accepting Doge, but now let's talk about this. I mean, if he's if your thing is that he's a genius that creates all these things and sees all this, then what why if that's it then why Doge?
Yeah, why would you choose that? But he's all in Doge. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah. So, but
And how do you think? One of the questions is, well, how do you think Doge is going to do in a rate hike environment?
Well, that's the point. You look at the tokenomics. I mean, if you look at I know his background's not in economics. So tokenomics is looking at the breakdown, the supply of the token, but the tokenomics of Dogecoin is very poor. They're highly centralized. Not even talking about the inflation rate so high that it seems to really support negative interest rate kind of mentality of hot potato, hurry up and spend it. And so promoting people to use a medium of exchange that does not hold value, that is not, especially in an environment right now where where people are struggling so much. It's just
a risk off kind of mindset.
And he comes from a very wealthy background so it's very out of touch. It's very out of touch and really,
he's kind of. I get the feeling he's just pumping his own bags. Like you get the idea that he committed a lot of money to Doge.
Sure.
And then and he's just wanting to just kind of pump it and accept it. Announce that he's going to accept it and get everybody to kind of ape into it so he can sell into that rally. Because obviously, if he's anywhere as sophisticated as people as people kind of believe he is, or as he sells himself as being. It just doesn't make, like you're saying, it doesn't make sense for him to really choose that currency out of all the others that are available. I mean, why not Avalanche? Why not Fantom? Or why not Harmony One? Or Solana?
Why not?
One of the things I was going to mention too is just that over time, layer 2 solutions are going to be the thing that makes it a lot easier for payment processing to happen on a much wider scale. I think over time, as we see layer 2 adoption, we're going to see more than just Tesla. We're going to see more than just Walmart. We're going to see big brands across the board starting to build out their own applications on layer 2 solutions to be able to handle that payment process.
And then Doge won't make as much. The whole use case for that will be kind of undercut.
Well,
right?
Oh yeah.
We'll move.
That's my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I can't find this article. There's 1 month ago. No, I can't find the article that I saw earlier, and it's not something that pulled up. It's last minute, so we'll move on. This could be old news, and I don't know how relevant.
I know he had a poll that he had on Twitter.
That's what it was.
But that was back in I think May or something.
No. This is a Twitter. I saw a Twitter post from something else that had an article about it, but it still could be. You know how these things are. It could have been something old, so that's why I'm glad we checked it out. It's still. It happened not that long ago, and the idea that you're pumping a coin like that. But go ahead.
Yeah, it's silly. I was gonna say, going back to that article with the billionaire Paul Tudor Jones. Before we move on from that, there's one little section that I think we could highlight, maybe touch on, because it does kind of tie back to some of the things we learned in economics and kind of spent so much time talking about. And if you see, there's a few quotes from him, right? And it's the quote number 2. And I think that's the one that really kind of highlights what the essence of the problem is. And he says here, this is a quote from Paul Tudor Jones. He says, "Can the Fed unwind what appears to be a financial bubble without there being huge negative economic consequences? It'll be interesting to see. I'm nervous because we're at such lofty heights." And I feel like that is the issue. It's like, how can we manage a soft landing? Because if you imagine that the stock market's at these crazy high multiples, inflation's clearly at really high and hitting generational highs going back to like the 80s. We haven't seen. Like, how are they going to manage this unwind? Without there being a recession that could be significant. Like kind of like an '08 kind of moment, or maybe a dot-com bubble sort of moment.
Well, I mean, the obvious answer is you can't. I mean, no time in the history of fiat money have you just staved off a bubble.
The consequences, right?
You can't. Yeah. You can't. I mean, when people talk about bubbles, it's kind of disingenuous. Not necessarily, but it can be. when you don't take a look at the fact that the whole monetary system is a bubble machine. What it does is it lowers interest rates and inflates money into certain sectors of the economy. Is it student loans? Is it the housing market? Is it over here? Is it over there? Is it so that the idea is which industry is being inflated, and that's why when you look at how money is distributed in traditional markets as opposed to cryptocurrency and decentralized DAOs or other money is distributed in lobby groups or in certain specific hands in certain institutions.
Yeah, it enters in certain points and then gets created and passed on as loans
right.
But the point is that goes to certain businesses or individuals or entities initially,
or through subsidies, or we're just gonna pay for student loans, or we're gonna pay for this much corn. So all of a sudden, these industries they have bubbles. They have all this investment. They have all this labor. They have all this production. When without that incentive that's kind of misincentivized, you wouldn't normally have people wouldn't desire this much corn.
Right.
They wouldn't desire this to be produced. So anyway, that's a little bit of an aside. But
yeah.
The answer is more which bubble. I think that it's not about can they unwind and acting like you don't know. It's like, you're a billionaire. Come on, brother. You know there's no way. The question is who's going to be left paying the bags? And is it like the banks get bailed out versus the people? Like the question is who's going to be the target industry to be blamed, and who?
I think that's what I like to kind of point out is that the question itself, I think, is almost disingenuous, because when was the last time you saw the Fed even try to unwind a bubble and deal with those consequences? Usually what happens when these things unwind is that there's some kind of big bailout, some big stimulus program, right? Go back to the .com bubble, we had that. Or if you go back to the housing bubble in 2008, there's of course we had the QE program, the bailouts, and there's all kinds of bailout facilities that were created for that. So I feel like expecting them to really pop the bubble is probably not going to happen. That's my read. Now they might try to get close to it and try to let out a little air, of course, but just this notion that they're going to really come up with a pen and just prick it, and just deal with all the negative consequences. I feel like that's not on the table. If it does happen, it'll be an accident. I feel like we'll tolerate inflation, before we really have a real risk, a big rate hike to where they intentionally pop the bubble.
I think that you're absolutely right too. I mean, if you look at the history of inflation for the past 70 years, it's insane. The increase of price of goods percentage wise when you account for inflation, all across the board. We see it across all commodities, all goods and services, and it's gotten to this point where even just like housing for most people, like
it's out of reach,
yeah, it's just out of reach for most people right now.
Speaking of, on that point, is that you're absolutely right, and I was just highlighting a quote that talks about commodities are well, you're talking about commodity prices like housing and other stuff, but in this regard, he's saying something that's, I guess it's a little bit different.
This would be like your metals and corn and wheat,
right? And
like your raw materials, right?
Right. And what I was gonna say, this is kind of funny that he's saying this, because again, it's like, well, do you know how long? This is true, but if you understand why it's true, I mean, financial markets have been able to create derivatives and create people have been able to rehypothecate and repurchase. When people look at how many actual assets, how much actual gold exists versus how many people own gold in the paper markets or own gold in the silver markets,
the GLD,
which is why people in those markets have always complained that their prices have been manipulated and suppressed by bigger industries, because while they have the raw materials and around it, it's hard to find, or the supply's not as much.
But even with that, all that dilution, I guess, or artificial supply, I think even the point is that even with all that, there's still this massive undervaluation because of how overvalued the stock market is, with all the buybacks and the fact that even the Fed had a facility where some of their asset purchases every month were somehow getting put right into the stock market.
I mean, I would agree on both totally. But it's built in the way the financial system works right now, that the commodities tend to be undervalued.
We'll certainly going into a rate hike when you can expect stocks to fall from their highs. And I think, and I don't want to get into the economics of that too deep, but just to think of stocks as being a function of a company's future revenues, so it's like a future value, and you want to discount those future streams of income, and you get like a present value, which is kind of what the stock price is supposed to be an estimate of. Well, if you're going to have higher interest rates going forward over the next year or two, that means that the discounting mechanism that those future revenues are that are applied against those future revenues is a greater number, right? So higher the interest rate goes up, so the discount gets to be greater. So the future revenue discounted with a larger number becomes a smaller present value. So higher rates of interest in a higher rate regime is going to have a downward pressure on stock prices just through that time value mechanism. And so if you know that, then you can think of, okay, well, maybe this is a time to sell stocks, right? So the anticipation is that the higher rates, weakness in the stock market, but the commodities will do good in an environment where inflation's a problem, right? And they don't have that same discounting mechanism issue. The time value doesn't function the same way as the stock market. So the expectation is that would be the play, right?
I have one more on the quotes before we move on to our market outlook. Move over Plato, move over Socrates, because Americans, all Americans, they have a view on what is just.
All right. Yeah. Well, they don't agree. They all have a view, but it doesn't necessarily overlap.
Yeah. Well, that's true. That is true. All people. Well, maybe some people are. But yeah, you're right. So there's a big collective view. Apparently, everyone. I don't know if he means like United States or if he means like North America, Central America, and South America. I'm not quite sure on.
But to salvage that point, I do think that there is a tendency to punish people. You don't want to shop at places that you feel like are morally horrible or monsters, right? So there is some degree to where having some good reputation can be good for your bottom line, and doing good by others and doing right. It's not a bad strategy.
Oh yeah, and I think the other business strategy is just to and we see this with typically like larger corporations, is that what they'll do is they'll be the only people in that market, almost a monopoly, and they'll do that via fractionalizing the businesses that they actually run by owning different businesses. So you can see that with things like food, grocery stores is a big one. Grocery stores is a big one. I was gonna say I can't remember the name of the big brand, but like the Quaker Oats is owned by that brand. I can't remember the name.
Like Unilever, maybe it's Unilever or something. There's like 4 or 5, right?
Yeah.
They kind of like have all these other umbrella company.
Well, speaking of food, I'm just saying. I just see a little. There's some kind of an intention embedded in here. Like when you look at the quote, and you speak of food, I just think, look, he's saying companies that lead the pack on issues such as pay, transparency, and climate change. So in other words, if all the problems in the world where people need food, or you look at what people in crypto and blockchain are doing, look at what Richard Hart has done for donating money to Long Life, for living longer studies. I forgot the name of the institution that are using, well, I don't know what they're doing, but it's a large amount of money to help people live longer. And there's also the freedom of movement donation and the freedom of speech donation. So you look at world hunger, you look at prison populations, you look at all of the things that are wars and problems in the world, and you're like, I guess this is the mind of a billion, but you're like, your big 2 main problems that lead the pack for companies to make sure they clamp down on are pay transparency and climate change, which coincidentally pay transparency is just making sure there's AML KYC out there, which has nothing to do with the liberty free movement of be your own bank and decentralized finance of mining and cryptocurrency and Bitcoin and all this. And climate change, which is basically like, let your local state jurisdiction tell you how many carbon credits you're allowed to have. Like,
I think it goes to show how out of touch this viewpoint is, because, I mean, if we really talk about it, some of the issues that we have is to the core of our monetary policy. And I would argue that cryptocurrency and open public ledger, it kind of already eliminates that pay transparency problem because it's an open public ledger. And then as far as climate change, there are plenty of other issues within this space too, and even economic issues. And we could see, like, a great example with Vitalik Buterin, his donation towards the pandemic and his donation of the sheep token to address the issues that were happening in India. And I think that when we look throughout this space and look throughout the different cryptocurrencies and the problems that they're aiming to solve, they're doing it in radically new ways that can potentially be the new industries that emerge from this.
Yes, I would agree.
Yeah, I was just responding to the chat.
Oh, right on.
Regarding the Tarantino NFTs. Kevin mentioned them. They were mentioned on the Wall Street Journal, so that's really cool.
We actually have that. We actually have that right here. So
okay, we're gonna get to that.
We'll get to it right now. I just didn't even see that. Pardon. Oh man, What's up? I didn't have the chat pulled up. So it's good to see you, brother. Yes, they did make it on the Wall Street Journal today, which is great news for Secret Network, which is, if people who don't know what the Tarantino NFT battle is all about, it's about Pulp Fiction. He had some. Well, Ryan, why don't you talk a little bit about it, since you are a big Tarantino fan?
So we did a video on this. So, but you want to know more? Check out that video. But anyway, short story here is that there was that Tarantino has the original kind of handwritten screenplay of Pulp Fiction. He's been hanging on to it, and he's going to release it, I guess, page by page or scene by scene in some way as an NFT series. And there's going to be some audio commentary, kind of talking about what was, some behind the scenes tidbits about the movie and how it's made and all that. So, and then there's a dispute with Miramax, and they're talking. It's an IP thing, right? They're licensing and all that, and so there's But so the cool thing about this is that since it's being launched on secret, since these NFTs are on secret, and the metadata, the private metadata, is where the goodies are stored, right? All this kind of private or this IP data, which would be Miramax, they have a claim on it. And at least it's private, so it can't. It's once these NFTs are created, only the person who owns it can reveal these tidbits and these Easter eggs. So I guess in that sense, it makes it much. It's kind of it's a bit of a dispute between Tarantino and Miramax, and we'll see how this all plays out. But it looks like there's a kind of a gap here where it'd be hard to say that he's making, it's not like he's publicizing these things. It's it's cool. It's definitely it's a gap, and I don't know if you could do this. The cool thing about this is that you probably couldn't do this on any other chain, right? As an NFT series, these IP issues would shut it down. But since it's on secret, there's a gap here.
Well,
I think it's interesting you bring that up too, because with Secret Network, it has that privacy native to the network itself. So it's kind of one of those things, like how you were saying, is it really public information if they're selling the metadata to one particular party?
Right.
There is a response actually from the CEO, the founder and CEO of Secret Network. So make sure if you want to stay abreast of what's going on there, make sure you give him a follow on Twitter, because he's dropping some good knowledge bombs. And, what's great is apparently the lawsuit from both the people who look at from Secret's perspective, the Secret Labs, and also the people from Quentin Tarantino's camp, according to this letter, basically, it's that this whole lawsuit is just a sham, just to impact the auction, as they said, and to hurt him in the process, but they don't actually have any legal standing or grounds over this. And like what you mentioned over the NFTs with Secret, they don't know what he's selling. Like they don't. Right. It's not like an artwork, a Bayou Club, an NFT on Ethereum or different network. It's not like a Picasso you see in the museum. They don't actually know what he's selling. They can't really state that he has something that belongs to them unless they can prove it, because they'd
have to buy it themselves.
They'd have to buy it. They have to be in the auction.
And then they'd only know whatever scenes were connected to the NFTs they purchased.
And we actually tell people, show the website how to do that. So if you're in Miramax and you want to know how to participate in the auction, reach out to us and we'll be happy to consult with you and walk you through on how to participate.
But the funny thing there is, though, that even that wouldn't be a violation of the IP because they already hold the IP rights. So if Tarantino sold them some kind of Pulp Fiction IP property, that wouldn't be a violation of any IP because they are the IP holders. They would have every right to have that, right? So that I don't see how that would be criminal. So it's kind of like a perfect trap.
Yeah.
It's just who knows? It's to get a lot of attention, but I love how Guy and the Secret community stood up and didn't say, oh, you're making a threatening lawsuit that could be frivolous and we have no idea what you're talking about. Well, we're going to stop allowing this protocol that's public. It's a blockchain. We're gonna not allow people to use it. This is part of that freedom of speech that people talk about. If they have a problem with something that he's done, then he has got to do it, and then they have to have a problem with it. They can't preemptively say, we think you're going to do something bad, so we're going to sue you right now. It's like you have to actually see that he has done something wrong, and right now and
that's going to be very difficult on the Secret network.
Well, it'll be very difficult. So congratulations to the Secret community. It's good to see people, there's more Secret community news. I will say there are a couple communities that stand out in blockchain and crypto for sticking together and helping each other out and really doing a lot to build value in crypto and blockchain. And definitely you see Secret Network, because they're brought together on this ethos of privacy. And there's actually something about the use of blockchain and use of technology. It's not just about, we're all going to get rich if we, no, it's that, obviously there's always the potential of benefiting from network effects and Metcalfe's law if you get in something early and it's highly valued by people. But the question is this something that is of utility and is of value? Is this an actual...
Well, I think one use case that jumps to the forefront would be medical records and any other kind of records that you want to, right? Financial data, fill in the blank. In a world where there's, Equifax hacks and, Experian, all the fill in the blank, all these retailers are hacked all the time. And, credit card, debit card numbers are missing and fill in the blank. It happens a lot. Identity theft is a big deal. So to be able to hold these records on the Secret network and reveal just as much as you need to in any one transaction or into any party specifically and have control over that's huge value. And I don't know what other blockchain would be able to kind of meet that with the smart contracts plus the privacy all together. It's a potent combination. And let's jump into Jackal DAO. That's one of the more exciting projects that's coming up on Secret.
Well, I pulled this up because basically everything you just mentioned talks about a lot of what they're doing. They're bringing data storage to a blockchain that has a privacy at its foundation, which is perfect for things like medical records and information that you want to be able to share with people, but choose who you share it with. And you can think of how many what can be built on this. You can have different layers of iteration and choose which who you share with, who you share what
documents,
with it,
right?
and how much of that information you share, right? So it gives you a lot of different options there. And they're doing more to build this down. There's a lot of really, really, well, look at this.
There's also a whole series of services they're going to be offering. One of them that I remember being especially interesting was they were going to do some kind of like forensics for people who get hacked, have their crypto accounts hacked. They would work to kind of backtrace what accounts did it go through and see if they can recover those funds.
I mean, this is a happy Valentine's Day post right here. This is perfect. Valentine's Day is right around the corner. And if you want to understand what to do for your loved one, you can buy them flowers. You can take them to dinner. You can book a romantic getaway. Or you can sit down as a couple and explore the Jackal Alpha and experience the euphoric sensation of digital privacy. You know,
privacy.
you can figure it out. You know, you figure it out yourself and understand. Get back to us. Drop it in the comments. It's all good. We appreciate
how about,
that.
Don't make the perfect enemy of the good. You can do this and that.
That's true.
One
That's
of
true.
the things I'd like to mention too, just about on the topic of privacy, layer 2 solutions are going to be kind of that competitor as well, because of that zero knowledge proofs. Zero knowledge proofs is like a concept in cryptography, is this huge move that I think we're going to see in this crypto space, because more and more people are seeing the value of privacy. You have the secret network, which has it natively on chain, but then you also have other things like Ethereum layer 2s, or even other blockchain services like Deeper Network, which are trying to keep your IP address private, and in a way where, let's say, like the US government couldn't subpoena your information. And that's massive, having a decentralized network to be for people to be able to have the privacy of their IP address, because a lot of the times your privacy is violated by the people who are collecting that data. And so even if you're using a private service, if they're collecting your IP address, there's still a way to figure out an idea of who you are.
They get an idea of what you're up to, what networks you're involved with, at least.
Exactly.
Yeah, I was going to mention Sentinel as part of the IBC.
Yeah.
Sentinel is another really interesting one to look into too.
Another way of trying to get provide that VPN service, but in a decentralized framework. So that's cool. Okay, there are some other really cool NFTs. This is kind of alfalfa to feed those who are checking this out and are putting it at 1.5 or 2 point speed. That's how I usually listen to these things, unless you're with us live. If you're with us live, you're getting some straight up hot information. Hot to me, because you can go chill out by the beach. This is one of the coolest uses. Secret NFTs, what are neat is they're not like just the type of JPEGs that are often criticized, which, you have things like LP tokens and others, which are basically non-fungible tokens. But the idea is those are on public blockchains. Anyone can see that. Without the privacy feature, there is a utility, there's a dynamic, there's a value that you're missing, that you're lacking. And as we've mentioned, there's more to it than just the privacy feature. There are actual other use cases, or there's utility that can be built into a SNP20 secret smart contract NFT type token. So
that you don't have like when in Ethereum or Fantom or the other chains, right?
And so if you've read this while I'm talking and already figured it out, Surf Bums Club, NFTs backed by access to beach property located in Mexico, minted on Secret, coming this January. They were going to do this, I forgot, somewhere else they were thinking about it, but then here it goes. We believe privacy-enabled NFTs are the future, plus there will be bridging to other networks. So they're looking to be big. This is going to be...
So cross-chain, or when they say other networks, is that what they're talking about?
Possibly the original NFTs, obviously on the Secret network for that privacy, but they may have other iterations that are public. But that being said, look at what you start with. I mean, it's pretty neat. that they're.
I gotta highlight when you told me about this is what blew my mind. But you're getting a membership. This NFT acts as a membership.
It's a membership.
You get access to the Surf Bums Club, a surf shack community for digital nomads. That's awesome. Now we're starting to see NFTs have a value that is tied to real life meet space events, the more practical stuff, right? Like, and this is really cool.
And
I'm happy to see it.
And the way whatever other NFT drops you get, whatever other is kept, there's a certain amount of data that's always kept private that other people can't look on the blockchain and see. Oh, well, that person has this, which is that it's kept secret. Only the owner of that NFT can reveal certain elements. This is cool. Also,
3 nights. Is that 3 nights a year? That's really cool.
Starts with 15. There's 15 nights you get, and then there's 3 nights a year after that, or maybe that's part of it. I don't know the exact details. We'll leave the website below. Free use of 2 surfboards when you stay at the Malibu unit. There's actually so if you can use it, if you're planning to move to Mexico or live there or buy a place there, you can use this NFT for a discount. Not just staying there. You get a 10% discount if you stay there. But you also get a discount if you choose to purchase your own unit there.
Okay.
Having the NFT, I read it somewhere.
Get you a discount.
I read it somewhere here. Yes, sold and get invited to surf trips, family and friends benefits. I think that's where it was. Here we go. Here we go. That means you'll be treated welcome. Want to buy a whole unit? Get the friends and family discount. Get early access to future projects. And you get early. Okay. Do I need to go through KYC? No, but you can if you'd like to make sure that your NFT is protected. So if someone were to try to steal it or hack your wallet, that they would be able to say, you know what, we cancel that one from our end and we'll issue you a different one. So that's cool. Who owns land? You can find all the details here, and they're just in the beginning, so I can see that this is part of probably like a funding program that's allowing them to see this out the rest of the way. That's cool. This is like those DAOs, where people are. It's kind of like the ICO. This is kind of like the ICO craze phase, but instead of people just giving money, hoping that someone will build, they're like, okay, instead of it, we're going to put it here. And you're going to get this receipt, and these is valid for this or good for this. Right. And there's something you get in return. Often pieces of the treasury or certain price floors, whereas before, the rug. But there's still rug pulls, and a lot of things are definitely in crypto. Nothing's guaranteed. But yeah, okay. So check this out.
Very exciting.
That's
exciting. I mean, to be honest, I think NFT services, I'll call them services because this is an entirely new space within the NFT realms. We're used to seeing these profile pictures that create utility afterwards, but now we're starting to see these things where really that's a vacation spot. 3 days out of the year that you're guaranteed for a one-time purchase. It's a membership, it's a club. And if you're big on surfing, like that's big. Or even if you're just a big beach bum, like I want to get one just to go down to Mexico every year, like.
Yeah. And with inflation, that'll go up in value every year. That's gonna be worth a little bit more.
Oh yeah.
It's cool. Almost like a digital timeshare. Is kind of what it sounds like, right?
Absolutely. There's a lot more to it. There are other airdrops, other rewards, and it's you're part of a community. One of the neat things about Secret Network and a lot of these NFTs is the communities that are there to kind of work together and decide what they want to do with these treasuries, whether it's to go to charity, whether it's to fund this project. So before we move into actually some that will do that, I may actually have it up. Do I have it up right here? No, that's not the one. Shucks. It's somewhere. Okay, I'll find it later. But there's an NFT that is doing something to help endangered species on the Secret Network. So there's a lot of cool projects. But speaking of cool projects, okay, they came out with the video. This is Chameleonville. This is built on the Secret Network too. I've got to power through some of these Secret Network NFTs because they just launched. This is very innovative in blockchain and crypto, and a lot of the people that are out there they're developing some just neat stuff. And when I say neat, I mean they're not just sticking a secret network; they're going cross-chain, which looks like we may be missing our buddy Neil tonight. We'll catch up with them next time. But speaking of cross-chain, you know, our buddies over at Fantom DAO, they're all about cross-chain treasury and supporting different networks and growing together, the old wag me phrase. But Chameleonville is building their NFTs out on, starting with Luna, Solana, and Ethereum and Secret, but they are working to build out to others. Now, let's just let the chameleon talk real quick, because this is a pretty neat little video they just posted out, and you might want to check this out.
Hi, I'm Charles, one of the 4,444 chameleons. I am here to tell you about this wonderful collection and cross-chain game in this fun fact series. Chameleonville. Chameleonville is a cross-chain NFT game, but first, it's a beautifully created profile picture collection with an amazing rarity ranking, special characters, and eye-catching looks, designed with rarity and desirability in mind to ensure each minter is satisfied with their chameleon, whether that be the chameleon's looks or its metadata. Follow us on Twitter and Discord and Telegram for updates. Chameleonville.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, that's a cool little video. So, it's neat that you're able to just cross-chain, and I know that from what I understand, you're going to be able to take your NFTs, and you know, like a lot of people, Jacob, you'll appreciate this and be able to speak about this. The metaverses or these basically video games. I mean, but they're interactive gaming realities that different people can build together and create. And here you can not only have games and like but you'll be able to put NFTs from different chains in your Chameleonville house, and kind of bring people in to talk about. Oh, look, there's my
so you
my
can
surf my bum surf NFT. Check it out. Oh, is that the NFT that you can go to Mexico? You know, it'd be cool to have a lot of these NFTs that are doing something of value or utility.
Make it interoperable, right?
Absolutely. That's massive.
A place where you can show them too, because people are visual learners. Instead of just talking about what this does, what that does, you can actually have NFTs that are actually doing something. This one is supporting this endangered. This one is supporting this movement. This one's supporting this charity. And
well, it kind of goes back to the idea that people like to vote with or spend their money with, like, to live their values.
Yeah.
You know, I think that to be able to do that and to have a place on Chameleonville where you have all the various NFTs from various blockchains, that's really cool.
Something I wanted to speak up on too is just the fact that, in my opinion, this whole metaverse idea is really just being fleshed out. We're like in the AOL days of the .com bubble. It's like seeing email being developed. The metaverse is purely at its foundation right now. There is no one particular place or many places that people go to where it's widely adopted. So the possibilities are just endless right now.
It's in its infancy. We should definitely cover this story, since we've talked a lot about Secret tonight already. This has been a very popular thread on Twitter. I think it started off kind of not such a great story, and then as time went on, and as the community kind of came together and read about this and responded, it turned into be a pretty decent outcome.
It did. It was. And from the very beginning, so that's been one of my experiences, and I'm so grateful and glad to have seen this from the beginning and to have witnessed how this works, because I've been in part and seen how different blockchain and crypto communities work together, and how certain things function when bad things happen. And just a little background story. The Cone Collector had been a supporter of Secret Network for quite some time. For many years, it had taken him a long time to get where he had in his savings. And a very, very ardent supporter in building value, growing the community of the network. Just very out there and helping. And there are a lot of scams out there. In fact, we did a video on this a few days ago, we did a video talking about scams to help people protect them from these, going over kind of what happened here, and we were inspired by what happened and saw this from the beginning. So we actually, in our video, and he posted today, reached out to but just said people to stop, because we made a video, and in our video we said help a rabbit out. We said, would you just donate if you learned something, and this is, educational, and it helps protect your crypto, and something more that will help you or someone you love, then help them out. 2 days later, first of all, you got a ton of support, and it has nothing to do I can assure you, from the view count, that has nothing to do with our views. It was, I had no idea. I told him, I said, look, over time, if more people worried about scams want to come check out this video, it might trickle in and get some value. And he said, thanks, it is what it, but check this out. This left me heartbroken. Oh no. The CEO and founder came in and donated another 3,000 secret. Wow. This was a couple days. I mean, the secret community was kind of a lot of devastated, because he's someone who's active, engaged, participates, adds value, and saw this. It's like, well, you gotta stick around. This is a horrible thing. And the people came together, obviously almost half of it straight from the CEO and founder, and
the rest from the community,
from the community. And this is why I have the final. Oh man, shucks. I thought I had the rest of the story out. You know what? I'll find it.
Okay.
I'm going to find it right now. There's a solution right here, because if you click on his account, there's a happy ending to this story. And I haven't seen this. I tried doing a video when someone got scammed in Wise a year ago, and I put a video out and sent a little something and put it out there, and no one, not from the team, not from anywhere. I mean, I say no, that's not true. There was a little bit from the team, I think. I'm not sure what it was. But, and times are different, and communication networks are changed, clearly. Right. And that was, but to see so many, what the heck did I just do?
Oh, you clicked the wallpaper. You just got an X.
Oh, okay.
There you go.
Look, this is the happy ending of the story. That's what I meant to click.
Okay, yeah. He's been made whole.
Please stop donating.
and that's what's so beautiful about this community. Not only is it the community of people who are going to sit here and say, we got your back. This is a horrible thing. If we all do this together, and this is how DAOs work. If we all pitch in together, then we've got your back. It's a horrible thing, but we can all. And he responds by saying, "Stop! I've been made whole." So, that's a beautiful thing. That's a beautiful thing, and
it shows you that the secret community is not your average blockchain community. This is not a project that's been as sexy as some of the others. It's not something that's on the lips of all the influencers the way others have been. It's been around for a long time, going back to the ICO days.
Yeah.
But the people who are involved believe in it, and they're active, and there's a great community there, and it's really cool to see this response. I don't know if you would see this in Ethereum or in Bitcoin, right?
Oh, you know what? I was looking all over the internet, and look right here. Right here. Can you see that?
Testing a payment option.
Tesla appears to be testing a payment option for Dogecoin.
You know what that is? Pump my bags.
Pump my bags.
Pump
bags. He appears to be testing a payment. This is just amazing.
He's testing a limit order.
It's almost testing a limit order. It is like, wait, how do we figure out how to grow plants on Mars, for when we send populations out there? How do we figure out how to send a Tesla to orbit? How do we figure out? Stop it right now. I'm busy. Wait, your wife, your child's growing up, the first steps. Stop it, life. Stop it, time. I appeared to be testing payment options for Dogecoin.
Yeah. Well, what I would say is, I imagine if you went into Elon's house right now and were to click on his, go up to his computer and go to his browser, you would see 2 tabs up. One would be Twitter, and the other would probably be Binance, maybe, or
wherever he holds his
Coinbase.
Dogecoin.
Yeah, wherever he's got his hot wallet at, right? But
Maybe just Twitter.
Maybe just Twitter.
Oh man. Okay. So another NFT that I want. That was pretty good, man. I like that. That was funny. Another NFT drop that I have to give a shout out to when it comes to innovating on Secret Network. And we were talking about these ideas and uses for NFTs and figuring out, but they took it to a whole nother level. And this is figuring out a way to make the funds used in an NFT to do something that not only supports the network itself, but gives back to those people who are supporting it, right? And what I mean specifically is, in proof of stake networks, unlike proof of work or miners, in proof of stake, you have to have like Ethereum 2.0 is going to move to. You have to have validators, and validators usually have a certain sum or a certain amount of that token staked. And what Clandestina is doing is they're raising the funds, having a staking node put together, and having those funds raised fund that node, as well as raise funds. Having a node, you have access to other people donating to be a part of that validator. So once
it goes live, you have people who are now staking potentially under that node.
When you go to your Kepler wallet, you'll be able to check it out, and there you go. We have a video on that. So pick your We'll be doing more on validators, because there's a whole bunch of great validators in these networks in general. And we're going to start breaking down different validators and the value they're adding. I mean, coming up with wallets, coming up with metaverse games built on the network. There are doing airdrops and supporting DEXs and AMMs and just a lot of stuff.
Right.
So,
well, talking about this node with Clandestina, isn't it the case that the node's profits will be returned back to the community of the NFT holders? Is that correct?
That's correct. That's cool. A validator used to be one person, right? A validator was one person who had the resources to do it all by themselves. But now a validator can be the rewards distributed among many people who come together to
kind of like a DAO.
Kind of like a DAO. It's like a DAO that are come together to share in the rewards of staking and supporting the network. So you're supporting Secret Network, another validator up in line with a good chunk of Secret to help secure it. And on top of that, what else are you doing on top of that?
You're earning rewards.
You're earning rewards
by funding the validator. And
absolutely.
Because that creates an income.
It sure does. Because validators get a small percentage of those rewards. So that means the NFT hodlers are now getting a small flow, a stream of staking rewards for in exchange. By the way, just you and I, where I'm going to go with this, because you're going to say it too. But none of this is profit. There's zero profit. There's literally zero profit involved. People talk about profit and they're not taking into account the time value of anything. It's like you're taking something, you're locking it up where you have no access to it.
And then you're getting a stream of payments over time.
Because of a service you're providing that's securing a network, doing this. So you're in exchange for a service and not having access to it. That's absolutely no way a profit. But yes,
it's almost like a rent. But we don't want to use that word either.
No, I wouldn't.
But it's more accurate than profit.
It's an exchange of value. Yeah. It's an exchange of value, of energy. It's basically you're giving, just like time value of money. If you're giving up your purchasing power of these staking tokens now, then in reward you can have this, because
greater amount later.
Even when you go to get it out. So there's sometimes a 7-day, 14-day, 21-day in the IBC. Like you have to wait 21 days before you have
bonding,
an
bonding period.
unbonding period.
And if you're so unfortunate to have committed funds on Ethereum, there could be a pretty significant gas fee as well.
So I spent all this time
talking
about it. We actually did a video on this. No, you're right, absolutely, and we don't want to get into that. There's a mission statement. So we'll leave these links. Actually, they're in our video if you want to go look more specifically on the Clandestine Gang. But there's an ethos. Yes, it's a decentralized community, but it's about inclusion, worldwide inclusion, which is very cool. We talked about this. You mentioned this in the last Shockwave, but that tends to be a very big ethos in Secret Network. It's very much about privacy as a human right. We want to promote this aspect of cryptocurrency and blockchain to the world, which makes
it's borderless.
And it's borderless. Absolutely, it's decentralized. So. Transparency. They have a DAO, and all their decisions and choices will be done out. There's no leaders; they're all working together. So it's it's a small democratic organization. That's how these things actually function and work most efficiently. Usually, anonymity because it's built on the Secret Network, so you can choose what level of information you wish to disclose to those who you're working with. This is cool. We talked about this. There's more in the article, and there's also in their second article what we just mentioned, which is all about the secret full node with airdrops.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a good one.
That's it. That's a good one. So you will receive secret back. So I mean, hello, and they're not even like they're being greedy. They're not being greedy, saying like, okay, we're gonna have an auction. I'm not saying that's greedy, because if you're an artist and you want to say, this is not a snock on the Pulp Fiction thing, but they're not saying how much can we get. They have a flat rate. They're saying this is all we need. This is all we're sending, because this is what it's going to take to responsibly get the node up and get this project going, and then we'll let the project earn on the merits of what it's doing. So that you see a lot of this in the secret community and in the IBC at large. So I just wanted to give that a shout out.
Very cool.
Now, not just on the secret and the IBC, I've learned so much. And, if you talk about liberating and making the world a better place, one of the cryptocurrencies that's done more for that than anything in blockchain outside of things like Secret that are trying to promote privacy and human rights, promoting freedom of movement, actively working on that now, freedom of speech. And many people get into cryptocurrency not to lose money. Many people get into cryptocurrency to support projects and to earn a return so much that they can take care of themselves better and their families. That's the idea. And in that regard, not many people have been more successful at helping others than Richard Hart. And I would say that the Hex community reminds me much of the secret community reminds me both. When I look at the communities in blockchain that are brought together on an ethos and doing things to make the world a better place, I see that strong connection,
that community spirit.
Absolutely. So I would love to throw it out there to the Hex community and to Richard Hart. Wouldn't it be cool as EVMOS, and he's building Pulse Chain, which is an Ethereum virtual machine, which, as I understand, everything he's done has been very well built and just well thought out. So if it turns out to be a better EVM, one of the premium, we like Fantom, which we love. If it turns out to be a premium EVM, and we've got EVMOS, which can bridge EVMs, and Hex continues to be such an amazing protocol that brings wealth and financial freedom to people, if that's the case, could you see an opportunity for a wrapper for Hex and seeing Hex come on to the Secret Network for privacy? And I did hear him mention, because when he's talking, I like to listen because I've learned so much from him over the years, way before Hex and Shucks, when he used to not like Ethereum and was a Bitcoin maxi. But when you see people that are open to knowledge and they're intellectually honest, that's another reason why it's like you follow people like that.
And they evolve.
They evolve. So it's beautiful because then you get to evolve with them, and it's a great thing. So listen and check that out if you want to learn. I mentioned that because I did bring up Pulse. They're almost look, $1 billion.
Wow.
That's
huge.
They're almost at $1 billion sacrificed, and the month isn't even over. There's still some time left, and I'm not going to get into the details of all that.
I saw some Wise token on that list.
Yeah, no, ERC20s. There are others. There's some Wise token, not as much. A bunch of Hex, Shiba,
if I could sacrifice my staked Wise, I would totally do that.
That would be really cool.
Yeah,
you know where I'm going with this.
Yeah, Well, the gas fees and unstaking and Ethereum, which has plagued people in Hex and Wise, and a lot of communities that built smart contract platforms, have been hit hard. So, if Pulse Chain can help out, create a vibrant ecosystem, I would love to see all the OG Wise token stakers who are there to support the Ethereum network that are being hit with those Ethereum gas fees get relief from this chain as well. But beyond that, this chain and this Pulse X, which is an exchange, the Uniswap, for whatever this is going to be used for and the liquidity that's going to be there and provide and how that's going to work, $1 billion has been donated and sacrificed, and you will receive Pulse X tokens. So like Uniswap tokens, whatever those the Pulse X tokens have no value. You're not going to get $5, $10. That's what's beautiful about this. You're just going to get 10 tokens, 12 tokens, and then whatever the market decides in the future, is
what it is, right?
Is what it is.
Is what it is.
But somewhere in here, I want to find it. Oh shucks. It talks about the fact that this is the whole purpose of this sacrifice, and what a lot is being raised for is to support and promote freedom of assembly. It's to promote freedom of movement, to help fund, just like you have a DAO, to help fund organization or the breakdown of barriers that prevent people from traveling between nations or traveling. I guess that's the sums it up. Freedom of assembly. Cool. Just like freedom of speech was Pulse Chain. Freedom of speech is a big deal. Being able to speak, even if it's not popular and people may like it, speaking about something is important. Freedom of movement, we talk about that. Like labor, freedom of movement, economics, like the idea of allowing people to go where they are most valued and to not be arbitrarily stopped at an area so that's kind of a big deal, right?
For sure.
A little bit.
Yeah, I'd love to see projects with a mission.
And $1 billion, it's like, look, if you're not talking about this, I mean, I know we don't have a huge view count at the moment or ever, and that's cool with me. This is a joy to share this with those. It's quality over quantity always. But check this out. Why would you not look how much has been sacrificed? Almost $1 billion. $1 billion of people.
Amount of money.
That's a mess.
It's just, I think to put it into perspective, like our brains as human beings can't process 1 million of anything. Think about that for a second. Like a grain of rice, right? You would individually look at one little tiny grain of rice, and you might be able to lay that out. You might be able to lay out hundreds of grains of rice. But when you get into 1 million, 1 billion, our brains just shut down and stop processing how large that is.
Yeah, it's a big number.
I know. Yeah,
for sure.
You're absolutely right about that. That's why when you get into debt and inflation, they start talking about printing trillions. It's just a number. It doesn't mean anything to anybody, right?
Yeah, it really doesn't to most people. It's like, what is a trillion? I've never seen it before.
I'm gonna do a quick run through on this because there's gonna be a special video I make on this individually, and a lot of stuff we do. If you do the live stream, we'll give you alpha drops on content we'll cover later. But right now that we've done some talk about Alter already, because this is one of the most innovative projects in crypto and blockchain. I mean, really, if you scour crypto, go to Harmony, go to Avalanche, go to Ethereum, go all over blockchain and crypto. Please do and show me where on these blockchains and smart contract protocols they've got these protocols that have utility, that are functioning, that are providing a service that you can use, like email, where you have peer-to-peer encrypted communication, which is coming out with chat, and which is chat, like a live chat, like where you can chat to someone and your keys, your messages. So this is built out on the secret network specifically because of that privacy feature. If you're communicating with someone, you don't want weirdos to know who you're talking to. All that, that's not like on a public blockchain to know who's chatting with who. That's kind of strange. So knowing that, allowing people.
I'm thinking the best use case, or one of the better use cases for this, would be like democracy activists in places like China and Turkey and Belarus and other places where authoritarian regimes are like, silencing journalists and
in any country,
rivals. Yeah, well, those are the extreme, use cases. But you're right. Any country
where that's happening, anywhere where that's happening,
risk,
for sure,
that can be a risk. Yeah.
So
these kinds of tools, this is kind of we're seeing the foundation for maintaining the liberal order we've kind of grown up with. Like we've imagined the rule of law and freedom of movement and freedom of speech. Like, if the clouds are darkening on democracy at an institutional level, then these tools will be kind of like maybe the renewal that kind of preserves some of these freedoms going forward. It's definitely a cause for optimism.
Well, you mentioning that is why really I'm so happy and glad to kind of have returned and to be focused to share Secret Network and the developments going on there, because really blockchain and decentralization and security of storage is great, but without privacy, it's missing a major component. It's like an automobile with not just without a seatbelt, but without a seatbelt and brakes. And automobiles are great. You're like, wow, look, we can get there so much faster than a horse. Like, yeah, but without a seatbelt and brakes,
it's not safe.
It's not safe.
Well, it's like fire. It's like any tool can be used, to be in a detrimental way. Like fire can warm you and cook your food, or it can burn your house down. Right. Blockchains can secure a decentralized future, or they can secure a panopticon financial state, with Orwellian nightmare. Now, pick your poison.
I will say, and I believe I understand this properly, I wonder if a chain analysis can still be done on Secret Network somehow.
I can speak on that point a little bit. As far as like Secret Network's on-chain privacy, are they going to be able to directly find out which wallet that you have? Not exactly, no, but let's say
you send something from one person to another wallet, could finding one address, then you can see the other address that it was sent to, and then you go.
I think it would depend on if it was secret or secret.
Yeah, right? a chain analysis. Yeah. My point is this: I understand the point of privacy for public viewers, but if there's a level of chain analysis, then maybe there's still a need for a mixer.
As far as chain analysis, really the only thing that's going to be able to happen is like when you interact with KYC websites, let's say like an exchange where you're buying secret directly off that exchange and then offloading it into your secret wallet, it might be possible to collect some IP data to be able to see, this particular person.
Oh, that's done. That's already done. As far
so
as
you definitely want to put a mixer between.
I mean, I don't care. I literally don't care. I don't have time to. I'm learning this stuff, but I know from listening to people who work in chain analysis from over a year ago that in banking systems and in the financial oversight systems, they already have the computing power and they are already there with chain analysis. If you have ever used a centralized exchange and you've sent money off of that,
they've mapped it all out
to your phone /email /
it's a public record, and they can write programs to go find,
it's your Gmail,
map it out.
It's your whatever email address, whatever phone number. There's nothing about blockchain or crypto that's secret. or hiding. It's
Right. There are definitely points of or interaction between email addresses or phone numbers even on the low end, and then more egregious or more detailed information for credit card exchange on exchange purchases. So yeah, there's really no or very you would have to go out of your way to find a way to get in without anything like that, with any records at all. And it would, I guess, the days of people going on local Bitcoin and just finding somebody locally and meeting up and doing a cash transaction, that doesn't seem to be happening as much now. But that would have been kind of the better way of getting in, right? If without giving up some of this information.
All right, I know that these were all asides, but going back to private, the innovation of private messaging. So there's a recent partnership, which is exciting. I will be putting out some videos soon to walk you through how to provide liquidity and stake and do stuff on Secret Swap and on Sienna. But at the moment, Alter is doing some amazing... First of all, they've done some amazing collaborations with NFTs. Let me just put that out there straight up. There are some beautiful NFT projects on Secret Network that have come with and been collaborated with the Alter team to help grow and spread the message of private messaging on the blockchain is here and functioning, and you can participate and help grow and let other people know. So because what would be Facebook? What would be Facebook Messenger or WhatsApp or all of these big, services if only 2 people used it? If only 2 people used it, then it's a great program, but there's only 2 people on here. So having more people be aware and
spread the user base.
Spread that user base. So they're doing a major partnership, which means that if you're providing liquidity, if you want to come in and help grow so that other people, for the oncoming adoption, that other people are going to want Alter token and CeFi, they've got an infinity pool. Introducing the infinity pool. And the infinity pool is where you can stake secret finance, secret swap, CeFi tokens, and you will actually be able to earn not just more CeFi, double rewards. You'll also be able to earn, they're in partnership, you'll be able to earn Alter tokens. And Alter tokens will be used for their services.
To pay for the messaging service.
Pay for their messaging services.
So you can stake CeFi and basically, potentially, if you have enough, you can earn the messaging service.
You could stake enough CeFi where you're earning, and it would cover your messaging service. That's absolutely right. That's absolutely cool. Right. And they're also working on some other innovative things where you can stake. Well, this is way ahead, but I believe they're working on bringing their own node to the Secret Network, where at some point they will allow people to stake a certain amount of Secret on their node to cover your monthly dues. So in other words, you could just throw like 30, 25, 30, 40 Secret into their node, and that covers automatically your monthly subscription. So
wow. Lots of opportunities there,
but exactly
leverage your money and earn some cool rewards.
It's the first token that will be provided alongside the CeFi token to governance participants. So right now, this is the time, if you're bullish on these projects and where they're going, this would definitely be the time to learn how to get into Secret Swap and provide liquidity. So if you like that stuff, hit the subscribe button, all that good stuff. I will be making videos to walk you through how to do this, how to swap and get this and get ready and load it up. So we already have videos on NFTs and Stash and Kepler Wallet. And
one thing that I will mention to the viewers is that's unique to the Secret Network is when I was first providing liquidity, I thought I had lost my funds because I forgot that you actually need to import your viewing key to be able to view your funds. So don't forget to do that, because otherwise you're going to be like, where is everything? Yeah,
that's true.
It is true. When you go back to the exchange, you're used to everything populating, but part of the privacy feature is that in order for someone to see what's on that screen, they have to have access to those keys in that wallet. Yeah. So,
I've seen that on Stash app. I've been like, "Where's my NFTs?" Yeah, and then here they are. Just gotta get permission.
Now
Good.
they're not just working with Secret Swap, so that's an amazing project that's going on over there. But they're not just working on Secret Swap. The other major DEX AMM that's working to do some innovating things like lending on Secret Network is Sienna Network, and they are launching a major public sale. Alter to be the inaugural project to hold its public sale on Sienna Network. So check
Very cool.
that, a public sale of I guess this will be like a liquidity bootstrapping type of event.
Bootstrapping, yeah.
You know?
Like a transformer.
So this is exciting. This is cool. And if you support privacy and you'd like to see blockchain thrive in ways to make the world a better place, and you love the fact that these people have actually built this and it's functioning and it's beautiful. I mean, we actually might have an opportunity to meet up with, do a little video here pretty soon, and meet up with the CEO, the founder of Alter, and I'm excited about that. I'm excited about that.
That'll be fun. That'll be a special.
Spoiler alert, we also next week locked in get this from Shade Protocol.
Oh, yes. And
The founder Carter over there in Shade is going to sit with us next week.
Okay, that's awesome.
Shade and Silk.
That's super cool.
We've
been excited about that. Talking about that.
We love that project. We've been talking about that project, and it's like I told him, I was like, Ryan and I have been waiting for a project like this in crypto and blockchain our whole lives. Like we
pretty much, yeah.
Just
yeah. That's an honest statement.
Really, we start looking at that white paper like, oh, wait a minute, multiple reserve
cool.
currencies, and commodities too. Oh man, this is a recipe for some cool. So yeah, if you nerd out on,
if you're curious why we're so excited, check out our video on Silk, Shade Protocol. You will, you'll maybe nerd out with us.
Maybe you will. Maybe you won't. Secret Swap.
I'm really excited to claim my shade.
Yeah.
I guess, man, we pretty much we powered. It's been a long time. We'll fine tune it as the weeks go on, but we're back on track for our weekly Thursday. Ryan, Jacob, it's good to see you guys again, and we're back on track. As you can see, there's not a shortage of information to cover. And,
we had a lot of tabs up, so we got through it. I'm glad.
And we'll have plenty to cover, I'm sure, next week. A lot happens between now and then, so we'll definitely drop videos. Of course, follow us on Twitter if you want the latest, because we can respond, retweet, tweet things, and drop the alfalfa to feed off of a lot faster there than we can on the videos. But we do our live. If you like the stuff, interactive, say hello. Until the next time, you guys have anything else? Parting words of wisdom for the week? Good vibes for 2022?
Yeah, Happy New Year. Thanks for watching.
Jacob?
Happy New Year.
All right. Happy New Year. Thanks for watching. Thank you. It's just fun to be a part of these beautiful communities. And I feel good about this year, no matter what. Bull, bear, all the animals in between, all around. Till the next time, have a beautiful day. And namaste, y'all. Let me get us out of here. Boom. End it.